Hello, everybody. Welcome to your first class. This is the Circle of Divine Light Magical Lecture Series, and this is Class 1. I am Dr. Bernard Alvarez, your instructor, and I'm sure you already know that, or you wouldn't be watching anyway. I hope that we really get a lot covered today. I do want to start with us doing a quick focus exercise. We talked about this during the last video. So why don't we take a moment just to relax, take a breath, filling it through our nose, filling our belly. One more time, filling your belly through your nose. Very good. I hope that you are all sitting in a comfortable place, that you're dressed comfortably, that you have your notebook ready and your pen to take notes, or a pencil, whatever it is that you're going to be using. What we're going to be speaking of today is the titles or labels associated with many of the magical paths that are out there. We have the term Lightworker, which is one that I seem to align myself with. I find it to be a very inclusive term for anyone who works with the light of knowledge and the love of the universe. It doesn't matter what the label is, but I really don't like labels, but we'll talk about the social definitions that have been developed over the last 20 years or so. Lightworker, rainbow, indigo, crystal, witch, wise one, all of these. And I'm sure you probably do feel a certain affinity with one of these particular labels. So let's go ahead and start with the basic one, which for me is Lightworker. And, we've had lots of people talk about light workers and what it is. They could be incarnated from another planet, and actually that goes along with Starseed too. So please realize that a lot of these do intermingle. But anyway, or overlap, I should say. But, for me, and actually let me just make this easier by saying for me, the definition of light worker is really someone who wants to do the right thing for humanity. It's someone who is active in making the world a better place. That can fall in many different ways. A light worker could be a social worker. A light worker could be someone who feeds the homeless at a soup kitchen. A light worker could be a teacher. An elementary school teacher, anybody who really adds to the higher vibration of humanity as a whole without selfish expectations in return, kind of giving unconditionally and not really expecting anything in return, doing energy work, doing healing, all of these fall under what would be called a light worker for me, again. The term Starseed seems to have a certain affinity with people who have a memory of past lives, past existences, either in another dimension or another planet. They seem to have memories of their species of another planet, maybe the social structure, all of these things. I have a certain affinity and memories of Arcturians because they have presented themselves to me. And so if I had to say I was a Starseed, I probably would be considered an Arcturian Starseed. Let's move on to the Indigo Children. Now, the Indigo Children it's basically a recent definition. It's one where it is believed that these children have the 12-strand DNA, that they have the crystalline DNA structure that they can pass on Many are psychic. Again, you're going to notice a lot of these overlap, and we're going to go into that in just a second. Many are psychic, many have healing abilities, many are clairvoyant, many see, ghosts, spirits, angels, whatnot. And they seem to have a very balanced perspective as far as their masculine and feminine, their left brain, their right brain. So that's basically what a crystal child is. The rainbows are really, they come more from, is my understanding, that comes from a Native American prophecy about the rainbow tribe returning to Earth and, bringing peace to the world and whatnot. And a lot of people align with that particular prophecy, so they may call themselves a rainbow. Then we have the indigos. The indigos are basically people who, again, all of these are very psychic, and I'm going to go into that in just a minute. But the indigos seem to, they say that it is believed they vibrate with the indigo vibration, meaning, for me, it's the highest chakra, or at least the third crown chakra. So it's people that align with that particular vibration and have their crown, blown wide open. They receive energy and have very, prominent psychic abilities. And then last but not least are the witches and the wise ones, or the wiche. When I started my path, and this will start bringing everything into one lump, so to speak. When I started my path, someone said to me, during my beginning stages, we all get very excited. I was maybe 19 or 20, 43 now. But when you're 19 or 20 and you see something new, you get very excited. You want to start telling everybody, and you want everybody to think like you and understand what you do. You start evangelizing, really. I know that there's still a problem out there where people are Christian bashing because they feel that they need to be witches, because that's the true way, or the old way is the right way, and this and that. And to me, that's just all labels and paradigms. But I was one of those people. And I wanted everyone to know about the goddess. I wanted everyone to understand how important it was to align with the seasonal cycles of the earth and the moon cycles and the cycles of nature and life and death and rebirth and the divine feminine and all of this. And someone finally said to me, they said, Bernard, you will know when your student has arrived because they will be called to the altar of the goddess instinctually. And there was a common belief within the circles that I've worked with that we had all worked together in the past, maybe at a temple of Isis or a temple of Diana or, the temple of Kuan Yin or whatnot. And we were all priests or priestesses of a particular goddess in a past life or perhaps even on another planet. So it's fair to say that, a lot of us do feel, and I'm going to kind of go into a generic realm here, so I'm not really aligning or defining any particular label, whether it be Lightworker, Crystal, or Witch. But I will say the one thing that we all have in common, first of all, I can relate to all of those labels, and I'm sure most of you can relate to all of those labels also. I will say the common denominator that I'm finding as I observe, as I study, as I experience, as I talk to people from all over the world and study with people from all over the world and different traditions and different disciplines, is that the common denominator is all of these people have that whole stranger in a strange land sensibility. They don't feel like they connect. They don't feel that they're from here. They don't feel that this world is a world that they can connect with or that they feel any akin to. It's fair to say that many are psychic. I'm pretty sure that 99% of anybody who feels this way is psychic. In reality, we all are psychic as human beings. In reality, we all are star seeds because humanity does come from the stars. We also have the idea that there's something greater than us, that there's something that we have been called to do, a certain inspired notion that we have a purpose here. And I think that's one of the most important, for me, common ideas of these particular labels, Lightworker, Witch, Indigo, Crystal, whatnot. Some, it happens later in life. Some come into this world completely awakened and wide open. I know several crystal children, and they're just amazing, completely grounded, connected, seeing, through portals. I mean, just amazing, beautiful abilities that are, of course, pushed aside by, once they get into elementary school, sadly. And I probably feel that's what happened with me, because I certainly had my share of extrasensory perception as a young child. So last week, I asked you to write an essay on why you feel you are a light worker or whatnot. I'm hoping that by the time you watch this video, if you are one of my official students, that you've already sent that to me. And if not, I hope that you've already started working on it yourself at home. We're not going to be doing an essay assignment for today's homework, because what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be, for those people that are part of the personal teacher program, I'm going to be correcting and suggesting the rough draft, and so they can polish it up and make it perfect for their particular files. For those of you that are not a part of the personal teacher program, I suggest you proofread, correct your own work. Sometimes when we walk away from our work for a couple days and we go back, we can look at it and we can see where there might have been difficulty in spelling, punctuation, syntax, et cetera, et cetera. I'm hoping that you will make the effort, even if you're not a part of the personal training program, to go ahead and correct your essay from last week of why I consider myself a light worker, witch, starseed, crystal, whatever that may be. What we're going to be doing today mostly is we're going to start working on the energy body. And I'm going to do my best to kind of do a 50-50 with this series. I mentioned before I want to do practical as well as theory. And as I said last week, I do like to start off with the idea of, why do you think you're this particular label or not? And, actually we used to do the essay used to be, what is the difference between a Hollywood movie witch and a real witch? But that was 10 years ago, and now everything seems to, the barriers and the labels and the veils are just falling to the wayside. So I think it's just a matter of, why do you feel you're connected, awakened, whatever. So we're going to be doing today, we're going to start working with the energy body. We started last week, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to incrementally continue giving you energy exercises for you to practice. The whole intention of this is for you to become a channel of information, wisdom, energy, light, whatever you want to call it, to become a channel of your higher self, to be open to channel transdimensional beings, if that's your choice. We will be doing it in a safe setting, of course, and we're going to start with the first aspect of it today. Now, I know that many of you have probably gone through the basics, and some of this might be just a refresher for you. For others, this might be something where you're going to validate what you've already been doing. And for some, it might be something just absolutely brand new you've never heard of. But today we're going to start developing the, for lack of a better term, I'm going to say the Kundalini channel. And for those of you that don't understand what the Kundalini channel is, it is a symbolic snake, actually, that rises up the spine as the energy of the chi or the ki starts working its way up from the base of your spine all the way to the top of your head, and your crown splits open and the energy starts flowing through. The energy, the divine energy, the chi, the keep, whatever you want to call it. But all of these exercises are going to be leading up to becoming a channel for light, how to utilize the energy for healing, how to use the energy for psychic defense, which is going to be probably in about 2 more weeks. We're going to get into that. First, I want to make sure you have a foundation. So let's go ahead and get into the theory of the foundation. I have decided to go ahead and use a dry erase board, a chalkboard, whatever you want to call it, only for the reason that I just don't want to go through the trouble of copywriting anything and then having to, give YouTube all this permission and blah, 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 blah. They're getting very, very picky. So I figured I'd just draw on a chalkboard so, it's public domain. Anyway, I'm going to turn the camera over and you might see some bright light as I scan by the window. But I already have a figure up here that I want to show you. Let's see. How are we going to go? Oh, good. Hey, not bad. It's not too bright. Not bad at all. Maybe I should close that a little bit. Yeah, that's a little better. Alrighty. You're probably saying, is that a hand or what is he doing there? This is, okay. What we're going to be doing today, and forgive me for not being in camera range. I wish I could, but I wouldn't if I were me. By the way, here's my hand. Hello. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be discussing the grounding technique. And I know that many of us have probably done it before. I know that I have done a video on it. But I thought it'd be really good if you actually had a visual before we did the practice. And we're going to do the meditation in just a few minutes. But when we do a grounding, okay, now first of all, let me just state that this is a person, so you know. Hello. God, that looks terrible. I got crap on my hand already. It's hard to be a lefty with these dry erase boards, I'll tell you. But anyway, so here is the person. This is you. You are here, okay? This is the ground, all right? From here to here, and this is only a visual aid, of course, okay? From here to here, we're kind of like seeing the crust of the earth and whatnot. We're going into the, the soil and the grass. Then over here, we're going to start breaking through into the magma. I'm going to put some red as it gets hotter. And then here, we finally get into the core. So what we're doing is when we do this particular exercise, we do the focus, okay? Step 1, we do the focus, we breathe. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to start seeing right in our belly, right here, we're going to start visualizing a ball of light, okay? And what that ball of light is going to do, now this might be a little different than what you've done in the past. What we're going to do is once we get this ball of light spinning, white light, of course, we're going to allow it to split into 2 and visualize it going down each particular leg separately, but at the same time, simultaneously, going down. And then we're going to visualize the energy going down through the bottom of our feet, into the Earth's crust, into the core, into the magma, breaking through this particular shield or whatever you want to call it, crust plate. And eventually, as we do the exercise, we're going to go through the core, and the energy is going to kind of wrap around the core simultaneously, okay? So that's it. Our energy, we're going to be visualizing a ball of energy in our bellies, having it split down both legs simultaneously, going down through the Earth's crust, going through into the magma chambers and whatnot, through the magma, into the core, wrapping around the core. And then once we have rooted ourselves into the core, we're going to... Actually, let me just move this a little closer. There we go. Sorry about that. I just thought we should be a little better. Once the energy is wrapped around the core, and we have a good firm grip and visualization of that, we're going to start sending the energy back up the same channels, back up to the bottom of our feet, and back up into our bellies. Okay, now this is what we call grounding. It's one form of grounding that is very common. Sorry about that. Yes, you're getting raw video here, so you're going to be seeing lots of lights and things happening. But so that is the visual, and I hope that helps a little bit, because we're going to go ahead, we're going to do that right now in just a second, as soon as I get a little higher, so I'm in the middle here. We're going to go ahead and do that now. The reason why we're doing this again, and I'm showing you the visual again, is because this is very important as a foundation, not only to protect yourself, but to also ground yourself, and to start getting the energy flowing. Because next week what we're going to be doing is we're going to start bringing the energy in from above. And then I'll start teaching you how to move it through your arms. And, you know, if you were ever a raver, remember that when you used to play with the energy balls and stuff? We're going to do things like that. Believe it or not, that's very real. It's very real. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the coming weeks as we continue with this. So anyway, so you have the visual. Why don't we go ahead and let's focus. Let's take our focus breath. Breathing in through your nose. Filling your belly. Exhale. Again. Inhaling through your nose, filling your belly, and exhaling. I should have mentioned, and now that I'm sitting down, I'm realizing I should be standing up. So we're going to be doing these exercises standing up. I apologize for that. This is our first day at school, so I'm still learning the ropes of what we have to offer here. Okay. Again, if you're not standing up, please stand up. I would personally prefer if you stood up. Let's stand up. Let's kind of gently bend our knees. Again, start over again. Let's fill our bellies. Hold the breath. Gently let it out. Again, inhale through the nose. And exhale. Feeling very relaxed. I'd like you to kind of sway a little bit, kind of find your center of gravity. And you're going to find your center of gravity between your two organs in the middle, to put it nicely. That little spot between your rear and the front. So right up in the middle there. And kind of find your balance there, find your center, and just kind of like rest your legs on it, and then visualize yourself just balanced in your center pivot. Let's take a deep breath. And now what I'd like you to do is right here in the belly of your stomach, visualize a spinning white light. Just a ball of light. Let's start off maybe about the size of a baseball. And let's visualize that. Not forgetting to breathe. Visualize the ball of light in your belly expanding now. And with every breath, it grows, maybe to the size of a small volleyball. And as the energy grows, it begins to split. And as it splits, it begins to go down each of your legs. And as it goes down past your knees, into your feet, feel it leaving the palms of your feet underneath you, going into the floor beneath you. Feel it pushing into the soil underneath your dwelling, wherever you may be. Sense the energy pushing its way through the rocks, the dirt, going into the crust, pushing its way into the crust and into the magma, going further and further down in and toward the core of the earth. And begin to visualize these two strands of white light energy that emit from you beginning to wrap around the core of the earth simultaneously in opposite directions. And as you begin to acknowledge and sense this energy wrapping around the earth's core in opposite direction, begin to draw the energy of the earth's core up through the channel that you have created with the energy that you have set down into the earth. So let us begin to draw the earth energy and vibration up through the channels you've created, up through the magma. Begin to visualize it coming up through the crust. And as it comes up through the crust, you feel it coming up through the dirt. And as it comes up through the dirt, it begins to come up through the soil and the grass, up into the bottoms of your feet, up your ankles, your knees, and then finally intermingling with the ball of light energy you have in your belly. And let's sit in this for just a moment, visualizing the exchange of energy as your energy goes down into the core and the core energy comes up and it blends with yours. Take a few more deep breaths. Get a firm sense, sensation, or visualization. Balancing on your center of balance. Take a deep breath and come back. What I wanted to point out was that when you're in the belly energy here, okay, here's the belly and the arms and legs. Okay, God, that kind of looks like me when no, I'm kidding. I hope not. Your energy is going down to the earth, right? And at the same time, you've got the core energy coming up and wrapping around too. What this does, and what helps, oh boy, you couldn't see that, sorry. What this does, and let me, that's what I need to do. Basically what this is going to do, it's going to create a, kind of like a figure eight. Like, okay, here's your belly energy here, right? And then here's the core energy down here. Well, it's going to kind of go down like that and just keep connecting. And it's not necessarily a figure eight, but I just want to give you a visual aid to see how it just keeps going and moving and just coming back and forth, back and forth. Yours goes down, it goes up. Yours goes down, it goes up. Okay? Anyway, what I'd like you to do for this week, I gotta be careful with that, don't I? What I'd like you to do this week is, yellow. Let's do, for your homework assignment, okay, if you are, if you're doing the essay aspect, please finish your final draft, okay? And then you can go ahead and put it into your notebook or post it. Like I said, you know, if you did a really good essay, I will be more than happy to publish it and feature it on the GIC website. But for today's homework, I'm not going to give a new assignment, but I want you to practice what we did. Now, what I'd like you to do, I wish I had an eraser. I got the eraser board, but the dry eraser didn't come with it yet. It's probably going to be mailed in today. So I wanted you to do God, I don't even know how to say it correctly, a record, okay? You really need to be practicing this particular energy work every day, at least once a day. But for those of you that are personal teacher program students, and actually those of you that want to follow along, even if you're not personal teacher program students, what I'd like you to do is record what's going on when you do the energy work every single day for the next 7 days. Okay, for the next 7 days, I'd like you to do this grounding exercise. Now remember, the grounding exercise starts with what we did last week, the focus breath. Do your focus breath, send your energy down into the earth, draw the energy back up into you. Once you are finished, what I'd like you to do is write down, there's 3 things you need to do. The time of day, the weather, and what you sensed, what you felt, what you saw. An explanation of the experience. So, time of day, weather, and your experience. Kind of like a journal, like a log. You want to log your progress. You want to log. It makes a big difference when you see how you did the first day of class versus how you did in 6 months. You're going to be like, wow, man, I've come a long way. Anyway, so that's really all for today. I guess 45 minutes is going to be the average here. Again, for those of you that have joined the personal trainer program, just go ahead and finish your final draft. And those of you that want to post it, by all means, you can send it to me at thegic.org. Just click the contact button, and it comes directly to me. This is Dr. Bernard Alvarez, and this was our Lightworker label / energy work class. And this is class number 1. If you are doing the homework, please write down the name of the class when you mail it in. It's a class 1. I'm sorry. This is going to be video number 2. Video number 2. I take that back. This is video number 2. So video 2 needs to be put on the top of your work that you're submitting. Thank you, everybody, and I look forward to bringing you another lecture next week. We're going to go more into the energy work, and we're probably going to start discussing the fundamental basics of spiritual philosophy. So we'll get into more about the whole concept of source, prime creator, and all of that. I don't want to say mumbo jumbo, but some of it can be mumbo jumbo. Anyway, have a very, very blessed week, and I really hope that you are getting as much out of this as I am giving it, sending it, and sharing it with you. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful week. And